One of the questions that I get asked most often by ToK students doing the exhibition is, how should I structure this? Or they say, I feel like I'm being super repetitive. How should I write this? Well, today we're going to answer their questions. Hi guys, welcome back to ToK Today. We are trying to answer the question, how should we structure the ToK exhibition?
What?
Well, that is a harder answer than it initially appears. But we will be able to show you a way in which you can answer that question for yourself. You see, the ToK exhibition is a strange little assessment. It's very strange because they're trying to get students to do a valid reflection whilst also having a standardised and reliable measure of assessment, and those two things just don't match very easily. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to fit different things together. Long story short, we can find out a way to structure the assessment by looking at the IB exemplars. Now, the IB exemplars are model answers that the IB send to your teacher. Your teacher can show you these model answers. So they show you what a 10 out of 10 exhibition commentary should look like, and a 9 out of 10 exhibition commentary should look like, and so on and so on. However, I can't share these exemplars with you here because IB own the copyright to them and they don't want them shared on a public forum, and that's absolutely fine. They own them and we like IB, they're our friends, so we're not going to break that copyright in any major way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you can do with the exemplars that your teachers can give you, but I'm going to use one of my own ToK commentaries, okay? So I'm going to use one of the commentaries that I've got, and then I'm going to show you a very sort of blurred copy of the IB's exemplar, and we'll do the same thing to the IB's exemplar, but we won't be sharing the IB's exemplar so that the IB don't get annoyed with us, which we don't want. Okay, so the exhibition commentary that we're going to use here today is what is the relationship between personal experience and knowledge? And this was a commentary that was put up on the ToK Today website a couple of weeks ago, a commentary that I wrote myself, so we won't be getting into trouble from IB here. As with all commentaries, I like to start with a knowledge claim for each individual object, a different knowledge claim for each individual object. So for object 1, my knowledge claim was that personal experience can lead to the systematic production of knowledge. Now remember, you shouldn't write in the ToK exhibition commentary, my knowledge claim is. It's just, this is the perspective on knowledge that you are going to bring out for that particular object. And that just allows you to get higher marks for that object. Now, with this knowledge claim, I was thinking something along the lines of Isaac Newton watching the apple fall from the tree, and then Newton thinking about that experience or reflecting upon that experience, and that leading him to produce Newton's laws of motion as a systematic piece of knowledge, which explained gravity. However, that example is well used by many people, and I wanted to go in a slightly different direction. So I took as object 1 the first carbon filament bulb made by Thomas Edison in America. We are told, apparently, that Edison saw a gas bulb explode in a station or on a train, and from this personal experience it led him to improve the use of carbon filaments in light bulbs, which gave us the filament-based light bulbs that we used until recently, because now we use LED ones. Okay, so here is my commentary for object 1. It's about 290 to 300 words, and you can find this on toktoday.com. I'll put the link in the video description. I might even put a card above if I remember to. Let's have a look at what I did in paragraph 1. Now, in paragraph 1, I detailed the real-world context of the object, and I explained how this object is specific and how this object is specific to this prompt. Note well here that the paragraph 1 is maybe, I don't know, about 60 words long of the 300, maybe a few more. Don't spend too many words on the real-world context of the object without linking it to knowledge. In paragraph 2, I use the specific real-world context of the object to distinguish between personal experience and knowledge. So here I'm directly and explicitly linking the specific real-world context of the object to the knowledge elements in the question, which are personal experience and knowledge. Paragraph 3, I use the specific real-world context of the object to define knowledge, because that's what this prompt requires, is a definition of personal experience and a definition of knowledge. So I'm using the real-world context to directly and explicitly answer the prompt, and that's something that I see students struggling with. So if you are struggling with that, have a look at my paragraph 3 to see how I did that. Paragraph 4, I'm using the specific real-world context to answer my knowledge claim. If you remember, my knowledge claim is that personal experience can lead to the systematic production of knowledge. I'm paragraph 4, I'm using the real-world context of this light bulb to explain that. And in paragraph 5, I'm justifying the inclusion of this object by referring to its significance in the real world and in the development of the production of knowledge. Now, IB have recently given us, in the examiner's reports, in the subject reports, some details on what they mean by justification, and justification means exactly that, details. It says that you could use a newspaper report or a journal article or published research, or just give more details about the object, and that justifies its inclusion. I think those details have to be linked to the knowledge claim or to the prompt in some way for them to count as justification. So that's how you can analyze my exhibition commentaries to work out what the structure might be. And you can see there we have a structure that you could use to answer your ToK commentary. What I recommend doing is to do the same analysis to what we call the IB exemplars. Now, these IB exemplars are model answers which are supplied by IB. And as I said earlier, I can't give them to you. I can't link them in this YouTube video because that would be sharing them in a public forum, and IB don't like us to do that, and we don't like to upset IB. So your ToK teacher has these model answers, the perfect answers that have come from IB, and they should have shared them with you, and if they haven't, you can just ask them politely and they will share them with you. And you can do the same analysis to the IB exemplars. I'm going to do that to this exemplar, which is exemplar B, which was assessed as 10 out of 10 in February 2023. And I'm sharing it here very, very small and a little bit blurred, and that means that I'm not sharing it publicly because you can't really from this see what that exemplar says. But you can get this exemplar from your teacher. It's exemplar B and it's 10 out of 10. And the prompt that the student was answering is, what role do experts play in influencing our consumption or acquisition of knowledge? So let's do a paragraph by paragraph analysis of what this student has done. In paragraph 1, they've linked the real world context of the object to the prompt, and they've shown the specificity of the object by making a personal connection to that object. This is something that lots of people think, that the objects have to be personal to you. They don't have to be personal to you, but they do have to be specific, and they have to be specific to the prompt. And a good way of ensuring that they're specific is by having objects which are linked to you. But they don't have to be linked to you. They just have to be specific. The light bulb that I just used in the first example here, it's not really linked to me, but it's a specific light bulb because it's the first one produced by Thomas Edison. Moving on, what does this student do in paragraph 2? In paragraph 2, he or she uses the specific details of the real-world context of the object to explain the prompt. In using their specific details, they are also explaining their knowledge claim. And here we find their knowledge claim at the bottom of paragraph 2, which is a long paragraph. And their knowledge claim is that experts play an exemplary role in the acquisition of knowledge. By exemplary here, they mean experts set an example in the acquisition of knowledge, which then non-experts can follow. And this student used that claim in this object, and they used a different claim for the second object and a different claim for the third object. And that's why they got 10 out of 10, because their discussions about knowledge were specific, a specific discussion about knowledge for each individual object. As I said before, they don't use the term my knowledge claim is, because you don't use that in the commentary. You just sort of bed the knowledge claim in there. The examiner will find it. Let's go on and have a look at what they did in their final paragraph, paragraph 3. And this is really interesting because what they did is they evaluated the knowledge claim. They used the term limitation. They said that a limitation of the role that experts play is, and then they explained it, and I can't really read it out too much here because I'll get into trouble. But this is interesting because the marking criteria, the assessment instrument for the exhibition, doesn't ask students to discuss limitations, but this student did, and they got 10 out of 10. So clearly a way of extending the depth of your writing, if you think that you're being repetitive and you don't have any more to say, a way of extending the depth of your writing is to include an evaluation point or a limitation point. That's super interesting. Okay guys, so I hope that's useful to show you ways in which you can discover how to come up with a structure for your ToK exhibition commentary. There is no single way to structure the exhibition commentary. It can be done in multiple ways, and I think once you start to analyse the exemplars paragraph by paragraph, you'll see that there are different ways of doing it. The important things to hold in mind is that the objects that you use need to be specific, okay, and they need to be specific to the prompt, and they need to show a specific knowledge claim, although you shouldn't ever use the word knowledge claim, and it's not there in the assessment rubric. But that's clear that if you do use knowledge claims, then you'll have a specific approach to the prompt, and that's what they're looking for. If you want to know more on how to do well on the IB ToK exhibition, then you can watch my video on what is the most important factor for the exhibition. It's in a card here or there, and look at lots of the other content which is on ToK Today, which will help you to do your exhibition. Just go to toktoday.com. I am currently attempting to write explanations for all 35 ToK exhibition prompts. Now obviously this is just my explanation of what the prompt means, and there are many other explanations of what the prompt means. Equally valid explanations of what the prompt means. But hopefully the 35 explanations of the 35 prompts will help students who are stuck in their thinking, who just need a little bit more inspiration in their reflection. So you can pick those up on the ToK Today website. It's taking me a bit of time, obviously, so I'm releasing them in batches of 5, and batches 1 to 5 and 6 to 10 are already on the website. So keep watching as I publish successive prompts. Okay. Okay, likes and subs are really appreciated as ever. Subs keep going up, and that's making me very, very happy. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Stay ToKtastic, and bye now.